I'm going to tell you what happened the first time I attended a civil court in the Isle of Man. The date was the 1st of July 2004, 13 years ago, a Thursday, and the presiding officer was one A.K. Williamson, described in the letter I received from the High Court as acting Deemster Williamson, but on the list of cases that day provided to me by the High Court office, Deputy Deemster Williamson. Here's a big list of cases. Log of Douglas Court 7 on the 1st of July 2004. Deputy Deemster Williamson, Summary, Business and Family Law. The Deputy Deemster being the third ranked full-time judge in the Isle of Man. Second Deemster David C. Doyle at that time sat in the Upper Criminal Law Court. The High Court or Civil Court was presided over by First Deemster J.M. Carouche QC. The list of hearings that I've just shown you, or meetings, accompanied a record of that meeting at 11:51 and 21 seconds on the 1st of July, was listed as Mr. Holmes, the applicant, me, versus Mrs. Holmes, although the matter was about children and should have been listed as re-children. There was no dispute before the hearing. I had merely asked the High Court to determine the answer to a question regarding the future upbringing of our children and, if appropriate, make an order under an Act of Tynwald with regard to that question. The statute at the time of the recording, and today, is the Children and Young Persons Act 2001, and the default order is no order at all. The court should make no order if the question can be determined by the no order principle. I shall now play two extracts from the recording supplied in August 2006, more than 2 years after the meeting, and you will note that at no time does Williamson mention the question that has been asked of him.
Right, just let me come up to speed on this.
Right, he said, right, just let me come up to speed on this. And now there follows 90 seconds of the sounds of Williamson shuffling papers. There were at least 5 papers that were not disclosed to me. So I've fast forwarded.
What are you being asked to do with people? You appear to have an order from Lancaster that is registered here in the event, is that right?
Right, he said, what am I being asked to do here? You appear to have an order from Lancaster that is registered here in any event. I can now state categorically that no order from Lancaster County Court was in fact registered in the High Court in the Isle of Man. This was confirmed by a panel consisting of Deemster Carouche and Judge of Appeal Tattersall in the autumn of 2007. More than 3 years after Williamson alleged that orders had been registered, or there was appearance of an order from Lancaster that has been registered here. And this is the next extract.
Wouldn't it?
I didn't think a UK order had any validity in the Isle of Man.
It does, it's registered here.
Registered.
Mm.
Can I appeal against it being registered?
I think again you'd have to go back to Judge Forrester.
I asked, can I appeal against those orders being registered? And Williamson replied, I think you would have to go back to Judge Forrester, who was in Lancaster. The registration process purportedly took place in the Isle of Man, so it would have been impossible to appeal an event that happened in the Isle of Man in Lancaster, England. One of the purposes of law is to provide certainty where there is uncertainty. By stating initially that there was an appearance of a registered order, Williamson introduced uncertainty, and indeed there had been no such event. And secondly, I think again you have to go back to Judge Forrester is an uncertain answer to a yes-no question, I think. In fact, there was no registration, so no appeal was necessary. One cannot appeal something that did not happen. The opening statement of Williamson, not the let me come up to speed on this, was a lie. There was no order from Lancaster that had been registered in the High Court in the Isle of Man. A county court in England cannot, under any circumstances, bind a High Court in another jurisdiction. And so I state that Williamson was a liar and a cheat, and he started a set of proceedings mislabelled divorce proceedings 2004/144 because they weren't divorce proceedings, they were regards to children. He started that proceedings with a lie.